Hello, I'm here with Stephen Nuttall, Head of Television for the America's Cup. Stephen, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Not bad. The first question I want to ask you is, how do you manage something that has the size and scale of the America's Cup?
Well, look, to start with, I would say the America's Cup is the oldest international sporting competition. But every time there's a new defender, and every time that someone retains the trophy, they get to set the rules for the next competition. So the America's Cup reinvents itself every 4 years. And so, although the America's Cup has got this amazingly long history, it's actually a startup on the inside. So you wouldn't think it because of the scale and the operation is enormous, but actually it's quite scrappy on the inside. And the first thing I think that we would say is that in the America's Cup, the first thing you run out of is time. So you have to make good choices, and we've tended to do that with pretty small and empowered teams. And we've then built technology and systems that works at scale in a phenomenal way. So to give you a couple of examples of that, every day in Auckland during the last Cup, we were collecting 125 million data points for the positions of the boats and the positions of all the parts of the fleet for umpiring and tracking purposes. We had 10 cameras on each boat, 2 helicopter cameras, 2 chase boats, so a massive array of video sources. And the trick in some ways is to reliably administer the event, so do all the umpiring and everything else that goes with it, to safely administer the event. So we had 2,000 or 3,000 boats on the harbour every day watching, and we had to make sure they didn't stray into the racecourse area. But at the end of the day, the viewer wants to know a simple story of who's won, who's lost, why does that matter, why did that happen? And so for us, it's about demystifying some of that complexity. And we tend to do that, hopefully through excellence of the coverage and also the way that we use graphics and the rest to tell the stories.
Tech must play an important part for you to be able to tell that story properly. How do you trial new tech out? How do you discover new tech that's going to solve problems and solutions that keep popping up every 4 years? Like you said, you're a startup.
Well, the America's Cup is full of really smart engineers and people, a lot of them with sort of backgrounds in Formula One and other things. So, actually I'm probably asking the dumb questions in the room. That's my main job description, I think. But for us, how do we solve the tech challenges? It comes because we try and learn from the rest of the organisation. We try and be very efficient in what we're doing. We try and work with the best suppliers that we can possibly partner with. And we also look to innovate every single time. So we start afresh every time. The cameras and all of the onboard technology for the next Cup in Barcelona will have nothing in common with the kit that we used in Auckland, because we have to keep moving forward, we have to reinvent ourselves. And that innovation, that sort of scrappy style of innovation that I think is perhaps one of the embodiments of the Kiwi spirit, I'm not a Kiwi, but I'm going to say that about them, is enormously to our benefit. It's enabled us to move really fast and to use an American phrase that people used to use when I was at Google, to break things as well.
Let's look over the horizon. There are a lot of interesting things happening in the world of broadcast. The portals through which entertainment and media is consumed are changing.
Yeah.
There's the second screen, which shouldn't be called a second screen because it's part of the whole experience. What do you see over the horizon?
Well, look, I think there's more hours of content watched on YouTube most days than there are hours of content watched on the mainstream broadcast channels. So actually, in some ways, your mobile screen is the first screen. The TV screen is the second screen these days. But so for us, actually, we had this vision of making the Cup open and accessible to all last time around, and we're going to carry that on in Barcelona. That means that it's not ticketed as an event. You can come down to the beachside and watch the racing. The racing will take place 100, 200 meters offshore, so it'll be very visible from the shoreline. But you can also watch on television, and you can watch on all the streaming services that the TV companies have. You can also watch on the America's Cup website, and you can watch on our YouTube channel. So if you have your phone with you, then it's available to you. We had 55 broadcast partners last time round, covering more than 190 countries. We set some audience records in many places, and overall the Cup was the most watched Cup that there's ever been. But the social media and online distribution added 19% to the record TV numbers. So actually It shows you that by putting the content all the places that people want to consume it and making it accessible to everybody is the best possible way of making a big event. So for us, we think about the live coverage being distributed everywhere. We try and tell stories through the website and through social media that complement the live coverage. And then we have a documentary series coming for the next Cup, which is an all-access documentary series telling the behind-the-scenes stories that have never been told before. And that's going to be directed and produced by Jimmy Chin and Elizabeth Chaivasahali, who were the Oscar Award winners for Free Solo. If you've seen that climbing film that's not about climbing.
Yeah.
But amazing story of a person's individual challenge, and also the production team who worked on shows such as The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls story. And we're super excited about how the documentary will complement all of the other content we're putting out on all of those other screens over a period of time.
Stephen, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure. Thank you.